Hello, my name is Jay, and this is the Hyperfixation Corner. And today I am making trash. No, sorry, I'm making art out of trash. Okay, there we go. I'm making some trash art. Basically, I just gathered and collected all of the little bits of scrap and trash that I used throughout the day, and I made some art out of it. This is just me showing you all the trash I collected. I was honestly really surprised how many like little teeny bits of paper there are that come in your everyday life. Like you see them and you use them, but you kind of don't process them until you're looking at them like this, all laid out on the floor, and you're like, man, that's so many teeny tiny bits of paper. I'm someone who considers myself to be a person that cares greatly about the environment. Maybe not an environmentalist. I don't know. Maybe I would call myself an environmentalist. But either way, it was just hard to see all this trash that I had used during the day that was then, if I hadn't done this, probably just going to go into a landfill. I mean, I would have separated recycle from trash, but if you know anything about how our recycling system works, sometimes when I recycle something, I don't feel that good about it. Like, I'm not like, yes, I've recycled it, so that will fix everything. I'm like, yes, I've recycled it, so maybe there's a small chance it might not be waste instead of definitely for sure becoming waste. Okay, so this is me starting and looking and realizing I have a lot of trash and only one scrap piece of paper. So I'm gonna have to really figure out how to get everything on the page. My original plan was something a lot more artsy and abstract than what it ended up being, but you can see me here just sort of trying to like puzzle it all together. Sorry, I think I did the same thing in the last voiceover video, but I had to go change some of my settings. So yeah, this had me really bamboozled for a while, so maybe let's speed through this part a little bit. So, as you can see, here is about when I realized, all right, my cute little abstract art piece is not going to fit on this page. All of this trash is not going to fit on this page if I try and do it like that. So I'm going to have to line it up more symmetrically and geometrically, which wasn't really what I was going to do. In my head, I had this whole like space scene with like rocket ships and planets and stars, and it was cool, but I like they weren't gonna fit on the page like that, and maybe if I had had scissors, but for some reason I think I was too lazy to go get scissors. So it became this. And this is around the same time when my mindset about this project started to change as well. It was a little bit like my crochet plastic bag. I don't know if you guys saw that video, but if you saw that video, you'll hear how I talk about how at first it started out as just this is a cheap way to make some art and I'm itching to make some art. And that's how this started as well. Was I'm itching to make some art and this is a cheap way to do it. But around the time that I was trying to fit this box, this cardboard box onto this page, I realized like, oh my god. Like again, I'd been thinking about how much trash this was for the whole time, but just having to take everything off and restart, realizing that I had too much trash to make the trash art that I wanted to make. I was like, "Oh my god. This is so much trash." And from this point onward, the entire time that I was sitting there gluing pieces, all I could think about was the environment. Like, I just wanted to make a little rocket ship scene. And now here I am contemplating how our garbage system works. If you don't know anything about how our trash and landfill and waste systems all work, it's horrifying and awful and will make you trust the government just that little bit less. Not in like a conspiracy theorist way, but in the government is generally incompetent and bureaucracy doesn't really work kind of way. It's just this is so much trash. Look at all of it. And I'm just sitting here gluing it to a piece of paper. It's gonna sit and rot on this piece of paper for decades. Some of it will rot and decay faster than others. Like, as you can see here, I'm picking up what was those paper pouches that the disposable chopsticks come in. That was that. That'll probably, it'll take a few decades, but it'll go away eventually. But like, I have a piece of different people call it different things. Here we call it saran wrap or like cling film. Cling film might be the word that people get more. There's a piece of cling film that I glued to that. That's just there. That's just there in this world forever, for always. That's what the hell? And I just so casually used it to cover up something that I had had for dinner the night before, and then I didn't need it anymore after I microwaved the leftovers. If I hadn't been doing this project and collecting all my trash for the day, it would have just gone into the trash. Something that I used once for my dinner, once, is gonna exist in this world long after I'm gone. And the only reason it has any significance is because I decided to glue it to a piece of paper and call it art. As you can see, this is around the point when I started getting really cynical. I was like, am I even like doing anything? Am I changing anything? Does this mean anything? Most people are just gonna look at this and be like, you glued trash to a piece of paper? What are you, some sort of like, what is this, modern art? Because people hate modern art for some reason, even though we're technically, I believe, in the postmodern era, but whatever. So I was sitting here thinking, most of this is garbage. The art that I was going to make, I can't, or I would have to throw away some of the trash I collected, and I wasn't really willing to do it. And also, most people who see this will roll their eyes and think it's stupid. Why am I doing it? I didn't really come up with one good answer. I came up with several okay answers. Why am I doing it? Well, because I wanted to. I woke up this morning and I wanted to make some art, which is a very human thing. Many of us just want to make some art. Oh, this is me trying to figure out how to fit two pieces of trash onto the page in one piece of trash. I was really doing something here. So one reason was I just wanted to make art. I just felt like it. And you know what? That is a valid reason to make a piece of art. People take art so seriously. They think if you are not doing the toppest of tier, the finest of art, the most beautiful of realism drawings, that you're wasting your time and you shouldn't be doing it. But like, I don't know. People have been making art since people were a thing. Like, literally, we can't stop making art, even if it's terrible. And I am people, so I can't stop making art, even if it's terrible. So there's a reason. The other reason was, well, I got all this trash. Nothing else is gonna happen with it. Might as well. And I think that's maybe where I find some value in this truly was going to be garbage. All of it. Every single part of it was going to be garbage. From the piece of paper that I glued it all onto to everything I glued onto it. And some of it fell off, so gonna have to figure that out. I was shocked that like 99% of the shit stayed glued. It was just this one thing that I had trouble with. So this was 20 minutes of art and mental stimulation that I got that I wouldn't have gotten if I had collected all of this, if I hadn't collected all of this trash and decided to make some art with it. So there's that also. And you know what? It did make me think more consciously about my trash consumption. And I know that just me isn't going to change anything, and just you isn't going to change anything. But if we both collect our trash and make a little bit of trash art, that's at least 20 pieces of trash that aren't going to end up in a landfill or in the ocean for a few decades, at least, hopefully. At least it has some sort of point now. We've given it a second life. And I say we because I very much encourage you to do this yourself. I think we should all be making art out of the garbage around us. I mean, clearly I'm a fan of it because I can't stop doing it since I made that plastic bag out of plastic bags, and now I'm making this art out of garbage. And when I say garbage, I mean literally every part of it was something in my house that was about to go in the trash. That was like either I had used it that day or it was sitting in a pile of this is gonna go out on the curb for the garbage. And that's kind of crazy. Okay, I my solution for the cling film ended up being the same thing, just wrap it up. Oh, no, it ended up being to wrap it around this piece of tissue paper and like tie a little I don't know if I tied a bow on it or if I just tied it together and then I glued the tissue paper, paper towel, whatever, to the actual paper, and that ended up being my solution and it worked pretty well. And look at it. Look at it. It's kind of hard to see. I wish I'd gotten a better angle of it, but I was afraid that it was going to fall apart. And I have to go get something. Excuse me. And here I am, back with what I had to go get. It was a frame. And by frame, I mean some, like, Target home goods art piece that was probably in someone's beach house, and for some reason we had it tucked away with a bunch of frames that we have for some reason. I don't know. I just looked in the garage and we had like 10 frames. Not sure why. We'll probably be doing something with them at some point soon. But this was among them, and I was like, this is so ugly. I need to throw it in the garbage right now. And then I was like, wait, why would I throw this in the garbage? This is not garbage. So I tried to take the little shell off, but that was not gonna work. So I just, shove the whole thing in there. Just get it, because let's be real, it's garbage and paper. It doesn't need treated with that much dignity and respect. It's garbage and paper. And I just put it right over that, like, ugly little shell thing. And it worked. It worked. Listen, you can't fault me if it worked. So now we are getting to the end of the video here. I framed this art. I put it in a frame with wood and glass, and it's gonna be in there for ever. For basically as long as it stays in there. I don't think it'll decay, right? Or whatever. I don't know. So that's crazy. I have just given this trash a permanent home. Why? I don't know. Because art. That's why. Because art, because the environment, because this says something, because postmodernism. Anyways, you can buy my trash by DMing me on Instagram at the Hyperfixation Corner 23. I'll put a link to it in the description down below. This is going to be up for sale on Instagram. It's going to be like $20 because I cannot make you guys pay anything more than $20 plus shipping for garbage that I put in a frame. But, you bitch gotta make some money, and here's my contribution to society. We have so much garbage. Would you like to buy it? Would you like to buy my garbage? This is just all social media is anymore. Would you like to buy my garbage? That's what piece is gonna be called. There you go. There's my garbage.